A reconnaissance team mysteriously vanishes after entering an abandoned Soviet bunker. Another squad risks going in to find their missing comrades, unaware that something far more terrifying than the enemy is waiting inside. The story begins in 1955. An alarm suddenly blares inside an underground research facility in Zaporizhia Oblast, and a scientist races toward the exit. The soldiers sealing off the area accuse him of failing to activate the emergency protocol and allowing a dangerous test subject to escape. Before anyone can question him further, something lunges out of the darkness. The scientist orders the only soldier with him to stay behind and hold it off. Then he wounds the man and escapes alone while the creature attacks the soldier. Decades later, the Kakhovka Dam is destroyed. The reservoir's water level rapidly drops, exposing a vast stretch of land that had been underwater for nearly 70 years. The old underground facility is uncovered along with it. In September 2023, Mara arrives at a frontline camp looking for her younger brother, Vit, who has been missing for 4 days. His 3-man reconnaissance team had discovered that Russian soldiers had blasted open an entrance near the reservoir. The 3 men went inside to find out what the Russians were searching for and were never heard from again. Command considers another search too dangerous, but Mara is certain her brother is still alive. Her old classmate Roman knows she's been able to sense things before they happened since childhood, so he agrees to go with her. In the end, Command allows Roman, a medic, and a young soldier named Vakula to join Mara on a 4-person search team. At dawn, they reach the team's last known location and find a massive blast crater. They rappel to the bottom and discover that this is no natural cave. It's a huge underground complex. Old Soviet military caps are scattered near the entrance. There are fresh bullet holes in the walls, and Russian soldiers who died only days earlier lie on the floor. Judging by the footprints, someone survived the firefight and entered the bunker, but no one ever came back out. The team pushes deeper and soon hears the low rumble of machinery. If the generator is still running, whoever started it might still be inside. But the first living thing they find is a strange man slowly crawling across the floor. As one of them moves closer to check on him, the man suddenly attacks and bites Vakula in the chaos. The team manages to restrain him. His neck is clearly broken, but moments later, he gets back up. Regular bullets barely slow him down. He only stays down after being shot in the head. Afraid he'll turn into the same kind of creature, Vakula insists on returning to the surface. Mara refuses to give up on her brother. As the group argues, a steady tapping sound comes from behind a wall. Roman recognizes it as Morse code, and the message is a plea for help. Since someone inside is still alive, the team has no choice but to continue. As they pass through the living quarters, the hallway lights suddenly begin going out one by one. The bunker disappears around Mara, and she finds herself back in her childhood home. She sees her parents, who have been dead for years, along with her brother as a little boy. But the warm memory quickly twists into something horrifying. Her mother accuses Mara of failing to foresee the artillery strike that killed everyone around her. Mara realizes this isn't a memory. Something has entered her mind. She forces herself out of the hallucination and discovers that her 3 teammates are trapped inside visions of their own worst fears. They've even come close to attacking one another. At the end of the hallway stands a female creature, but every bullet passes straight through her image. When the creature disappears, the lights return to normal. The group quickly takes shelter in a room to recover. To convince the others to trust her, Mara reveals the secret she's kept for years. By touching something, she can sometimes sense the past or the future. Most of what she sees is terrible, and she has no control over when the visions come. In 2014, an artillery shell destroyed her home. She had no warning beforehand and only managed to pull her brother from the rubble. Since then, she's seen her ability not as a gift, but as a curse that brings nothing but fear. After a brief rest, the team follows the sound of the generator to another section of the facility. More than a dozen creatures are roaming inside. The soldiers aim for their heads and quickly take them down. In a side room, they find a Russian scientist named Karlov hiding alone. He claims he entered the bunker with the Russian troops and was the only survivor after the others were attacked. Mara searches his backpack and finds 2 vials he claims are insulin, along with an experiment journal that belonged to his father. The moment her fingers touch the journal, she sees countless women being held inside the facility and subjected to experiments. Realizing he can no longer hide the truth, Karlov admits that this place is called the Kakhovka facility. It was a secret Cold War base created to develop super soldiers, and his father was one of the scientists involved. Karlov didn't come back to search for survivors. He came to finish his father's work. The research followed two separate paths. The male subjects were injected with a drug that made them stronger and nearly immune to fear and pain. In the end, they all lost their minds and became the living corpses roaming the bunker. The female subjects were divided by blood type and used to develop different psychic abilities. Each group was named after a flower. The subject who created the hallucinations is called Violet. Another massive test subject is called Aster. Aster produces a substance that speeds up the regeneration of the living corpses. If it enters someone's body, it can also take control of them. The most dangerous group is called Ru. They can alter the structure of matter with their minds. According to Karlov, the experiment requires the extremely rare Rho null blood type, and Mara happens to have it. The last Ru subject retained her self-awareness, but could survive for only 1 hour. During that single hour, she killed every researcher in the facility. Aster later reanimated the dead, turning the bunker into what it is today. Karlov talks about all this as if it's nothing. He still considers the countless victims a necessary cost of the research. Mara has no interest in arguing with a madman and forces him to lead them to the second-floor cafeteria where the missing reconnaissance team is hiding. The cafeteria doors are locked from the inside. Karlov warns them that an explosion will draw every creature in the bunker, but Mara fears her brother may be injured. She tells Roman to blow open the door with a grenade. The moment Mara rushes inside, Vit mistakes her for another hallucination created by Violet and attacks her. Mara has no choice but to restrain him. Only after recognizing one of her familiar movements does Vit realize that his sister is real. The other two scouts emerge from hiding. After entering the bunker, they were surrounded by the living corpses and quickly ran out of ammunition. They had no choice but to barricade themselves inside the cafeteria and wait for help. Now that the doors have been blown open, the creatures outside could pour in at any moment. To escape, they first need to reach the armory on the 3rd floor and get more weapons. Rather than risk everyone at once, Mara and Roman take Karlov through a garbage chute to the 3rd floor. Vit and the others stay behind to guard the cafeteria entrance. When the three reach the bottom, they discover an incineration room where failed test subjects were once discarded. At the same time, everything outside the cafeteria suddenly goes quiet. Before the others can figure out why, Aster crashes through their defenses with a horde of living corpses. With their ammunition running low, the soldiers are forced to fight as they fall back. One of them is killed, and the medic is infected by the substance Aster sprays while trying to protect Vocula. The survivors manage to destroy Aster and stop the first wave, but the medic soon loses control and attacks his teammates. He briefly comes back to his senses, only to lose control again seconds later. To keep from hurting anyone else, he ends his own life in his last few seconds of clarity. Elsewhere, Mara, Roman, and Karlov enter the control room. Old recordings finally show them how the experiment spiraled out of control. But when they open the armory, there's no ammunition inside. Instead, they find a self-destruct system designed to release gas throughout the entire facility and ignite it. Karlov then claims there may still be weapons in the main laboratory and urges them to keep moving. On the way there, Violet pulls Mara into another hallucination. This time, Mara isn't fooled. Through their connection, she sees Violet's past. Violet was once an ordinary girl who was taken because she had the right blood type. The experiments destroyed any chance she had at a normal life. Now she has sought out Mara because she wants the suffering to end. Mara understands what Violet is asking and finally frees her from decades of pain. Roman, meanwhile, has been affected so many times that he can no longer wake from his hallucination. Mara uses her own ability to enter Roman's mind and struggles to bring him back to reality. By the time they both wake up, Karlov has taken their weapons and the backpack and escaped. Fortunately, Vit and the remaining soldiers arrive through a ventilation shaft, and the two groups reunite before pursuing Karlov into the main laboratory. Karlov finally reveals his true objective. The vials he called insulin actually contain an improved version of the super soldier serum. He believes this new formula can strengthen the body without destroying the subject's mind. Only then does everyone realize why Karlov kept claiming there might be weapons in the armory and laboratory. He was using the team to reach the original serum stored inside the facility. Once the formula is complete, he injects himself with it. Karlov collapses but quickly wakes up again, now transformed into an even more dangerous creature. Bullets can't stop him, and he can sense and control every test subject in the bunker. The team is driven into the laboratory and barricades the door with cabinets. When Karlov breaks through, Vit and the other soldiers are killed one after another. Roman doesn't survive either. Then the scene suddenly jumps back several minutes. When Mara hugged her brother earlier, she unknowingly saw what was about to happen. Since fighting Karlov normally will only get everyone killed, she decides to change the outcome another way. Mara mixes Karlov's improved serum with the Rue experiment drug and injects all of it into herself. The same crisis unfolds again, but this time, just as Karlov is about to attack Vit, Mara's power awakens. Her rare blood type allows her to gain the abilities of the Rue subjects. With nothing but her mind, she destroys the structure of Karlov's body. Then she wipes out the living corpses in the hallway. Previous experiments showed that this power could last no more than an hour, but that's still enough time to get everyone out. Before retreating, Roman activates the facility's self-destruct system. Under Mara's protection, the survivors make it back to the surface. The gas beneath them ignites, and the laboratory hidden for nearly 70 years is finally consumed by fire. After exhausting her power, Mara loses consciousness and is taken to a hospital. The doctors determine that she is brain dead. Just as everyone wonders what to do, Mara sees a mysterious woman standing beside her hospital bed. The woman tells Mara that she was supposed to die, but she has other plans for her. The bunker may be gone, but the power left behind by Rue is far from finished. The most terrifying part of the experiment was never how many monsters it created. It was that even at the very end, some people still believed they had the right to sacrifice other lives for their own ambition. What saved everyone wasn't a stronger drug, but Mara's choice to give the people around her a chance to live, even though she knew what it would cost her.